In 2012, I bought this XC Falcon Ute for $2,000. Yes, $2,000. It was ready to be sent to the paint shop to have its paint done. It was ready to be put back on the road. However, I was 19 years old at the time, and when I brought it back home, I started to strip it down and get distracted and do other things. I did own another XC Falcon at the time that was registered. I got as far as painting the engine bay and starting to put it back together, laying down some Dynamat, before it quickly got retired to a garden ornament. As you can see here, we used it as something to sit on when drinking. All the while, I kept buying other cars and doing those up instead of the XC Falcon. Despite that, when I had to move to Brisbane, I took it with me because the dream was still alive. I had a 460 big block. I was going to chuck in this thing, and I was determined to get it back on the road. I laid down the Dynamat. I started to make the interior nice. I started to put it all back together before, well, I just got sick of seeing it in that state. So I sold it for $2,000 in 2014. And ever since then, have regretted that decision. I always tell the story of the immaculate XC Falcon Ute shell that I had that I sold for next to nothing. Fast forward 8 years and I'm scrolling through Facebook while I'm at work and I see someone selling an XC Falcon Ute. I decide to take a look just out of curiosity and I notice that it's got a sunroof, yellow springs, and some very identifiable sound deadening in the interior. So, upon realizing that it actually was my old XC Falcon, I bought it straight away and organized to have it shipped over here to Perth, which in itself was a mission. However, I ended up finding someone that could ship it over here by boat, but little did I know it would take an excruciatingly long time to get here. And that brings us to today, 6 months, almost 7 months later. The car is at the shipping yard and we're on our way to pick it up. Finally, to take it back to the workshop, have a look at it. I have absolutely no idea what parts it comes with, what parts are with it. I just know that the tray is full of parts, and that was one of the issues I had with trying to get it over here. No transport company wanted to take it because of all the loose parts in the back. I eventually sorted it out. It's here now. We're on our way to go and pick it up, and I have absolutely no idea what condition it could be in. I know it's in good condition. I don't know what parts are with it. Hopefully no one's stolen any of the parts in the 6 months that it's been waiting in the shipping yard. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it for the first time in 8 years. Yeah, we'll see what it looks like when we get there.
Where? Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Does it bring back memories?
Well, last time I saw it, it wasn't painted like randomly. So it's got someone's put different guards on it. They've put different doors on it.
Yeah.
These doors are fucked. Other than that, I had the rest of the body prepped for paint, and so it looks like they've just painted it, which is exactly what I want. No rust all through here, it's perfect. All through here is perfect. No rust whatsoever. The only thing that's got rust on it is the doors. That door. A little bit of rust showing through here, but not much at all. This door's already been painted. This door's good. It's got a bit of a ding here. I don't know if this happened in transport. It looks like fresh steel under there, so that might have happened in transport, I reckon.
What does that mean?
I don't know, maybe a forklift or something moved it, but
yeah, is that an easy fix?
yeah, that's easy. That'll just pop out. It's such a large panel.
Yeah.
You're about to lose him for a few weekends.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've already lost him. Do you know what? He already does. How many cars do you have at the moment? Two.
So, oh,
Two
no,
on the-
this is the second. I've got the X. I got an XA.
Yeah, so we've already been building them.
Just every time.
I've accepted defeat.
You may notice that the back seat is now full of all the parts that were in the ute. We picked up the car, and the second we got on the freeway, I'm talking the second, as we're accelerating on the on-ramp, the trailer just went out of control and started wobbling left to right. Luckily I felt it straight away, was able to slowly come to a bit of a stop and just take the next exit. We were right on another exit, so that was quite fortunate. So we took the exit, and basically, I have said it in another video when I was towing the XF, when you're towing a shell that has no engine, always load it with the rear end front ways, because the diff and the rear end of the car is now the heaviest part of the car, and you want that to the front of the trailer. But the way that it was loaded in the yard, you would have seen it was back up against a fence. Old mate was sort of like coming out and sort of like wondering how long we were going to take. So I just loaded the front ways on, thinking it would be all right. Turns out all the parts in the back, they were quite heavy. We're talking 2 steel bumpers, another tailgate. So you got all that in extra parts in the back, right at the very edge of the trailer. And this trailer isn't that great. So just that little bit of weight distribution towards the rear end, it just sent the trailer in a bit of a death wobble. So we just pulled over, loaded everything into the Ranger. And we've got everything in the Ranger now. All the parts are in here. The back of the XC is empty. I pulled it right up against the stop on the front of the trailer, and we're going 80 kilometers. You'll see all the cars going past. We're going 80 kilometers on the freeway back home because I'm not risking that happening again. And 80 kilometers, it seems to be pretty happy. So 80 Ks, slow trip home, and I'll be glad when we get there. We made it back alive. It's back. It's finally in the workshop after 6 months of travel. It's back in here, so let's tear into it. Let's have a look around it, see what's wrong with it. I think it was totally uncovered in the shipping yard for 6 months because there's some signs of some serious weathering to it. The kind you get from sun and rain and things like that. So hopefully the parts that have come with it aren't damaged. And any of the rust that I'm seeing is just spot rust. Just a bit of flash rust from the weathering. So let's have a little bit of a deeper dive into this thing. Let's see where we're at with it and see how much has changed over the 9 years that it hasn't been in my possession. All right, first up is the engine bay. Now, I actually had the engine bay blasted about 10 years ago, and then I coated it, and it looks like I did a pretty good job because this has been standing for 10 years now, and I don't really see any actual rust in it. There's, you know, like I said, there's a bit of weathering where they've obviously gone to check the VIN number, that's flash rusted. Other than that, it's gone pretty good. At some stage, it's had a replacement cowl put on it. That wasn't by me, that was done before I owned this, so that's been cut off. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this entire section off anyways and do what I've done with the XA and just seam weld along here, because as you can see, the spot welds from underneath are starting to rust. A manual steering box in it at the moment, which in the XG I picked up a power steering box, so power steering box will be going in this. Moving on, these are definitely not the front quarter panels I sold with it. These are XA front quarter panels, which I'm not too fussed about because they are straight as a die. Other than that, they are absolutely banging straight, so that's fantastic. This one, same, it's got a little bit of rust down towards the bottom there, but other than that, these front guards are pretty damn good. However, I've already spent a bit of time on those front guards, and they are for the Landau/LTD, and that's what I need. So unfortunately, I can't use these, but I might be able to use these for cuts and sections. Onto the doors. Of course, these are not the doors that I sold with it. I put up a picture now that'll show the doors that were on it, which were immaculate like the rest of the car. Those doors were spotless. These doors, not so much. These are totally cooked. I'm not even going to fuck around for these. I'm probably just going to source new doors. Yeah, these are just totally cooked. So at one stage, someone's pilfered the perfect quality coupe doors that were on it, and they are probably on a coupe that's rolling around the streets now on this side. This door, who knows? Maybe this was the original, one of the original doors that I sold it with. Looking down on the inside there, it looks pretty good. So, one door is good to go. Now, it does have the sunroof. I'm torn. Do I keep the sunroof? Or I've kept that section of the XA's roof, which is perfect, to basically use as an insert so I can get rid of the sunroof and just keep it flat roof. But I don't know, maybe should I source a sunroof for this? I think I should. It'd be pretty cool to have a sunroof on one of these babies. But a little bit more work is required, I think, other than just cutting a hole, because as you can see, there's no real structural support and the roof is dipped down in the center there, so that'll be interesting. Now we'll pull the parts out and get to that in a second, but just looking, I can see that this dash is crack free, despite, you can see, like, look at, it's been sitting in the weather. There's a big crack there. All right, I thought I got it. It probably was crack free. It probably was a crack free dash. Sitting in the sun for 6 months has probably totally fucked it. Look at the butt. Look, this was actually wrapped in bubble wrap. In the picture he showed me, I think I've got a picture of it when he sent it over, but this was totally wrapped in bubble wrap, and now look at it, it's totally cooked. So I think he did his best to protect it. Hasn't been good enough. Now I think they're windows. I'm not too sure, is that? Yeah, that must be the windows that are wrapped in the gym mats. Got a GXL grill there, which I'm gonna get rid of. I'm gonna trade for a single headlight grill. This is gonna be single headlight front. I think the single headlights look absolutely sick, especially when you do what I did with my previous XC, which is have the inserts in front of them. I'll put a picture of that up now so you can see what that looks like. It looks freaking dope. Big bag of things over there. That's exciting. Don't know what's in the bag. In the back, we've got a totally cooked GS bonnet, which I told him to include because I might be able to use the center section as a cut for something. I don't know, maybe, who knows? That's probably just gonna go to scrap or wall art. And the tray's pretty much good to go. There's a brand new tailgate on there, so that's a bit of a win. This side looks straight as a die. So, I mean, the bodywork was ready for paint when I sold this car. So the main body is good to go. I'm gonna sand back this shitty blue paint. I'm gonna get it resprayed real quick, and we're gonna get vinyl wrap. Things that bolt off, like the doors and front guards, they've obviously been changed, which is a bit of a shame, but all I need is a passenger door and 2 XC front guards, and we are good to go for paint. Only thing is, I think this got damaged in transport, because that right there, to me, that screams forklift. I reckon they've come in to move it at the yard with a forklift, and that is 100%. That is a forklift mark, 100%. And look at that, that's fresh steel. If that was any, that's about 6 months worth of rust, I reckon, on fresh steel. That is definitely a forklift mark. Like, you've got to be a special kind of absolute moron to just hit a car, and I don't know, do they hold anyone accountable? Who knows? Should be an easy job to get that out though. I can get behind there, I can pop that back out. It travels along the body line, so we'll see how we go. Should be easy enough to get out though, so fingers crossed. And yes, underneath, that is the glue that tied everything together. 10 years ago, I put that diff cover on. That little plate there. So there it is, the XC, the old XC. I've got it back after 9 years. I think I said 8 years earlier in the video, but it's 2023 now, so that's 9 years now. After 9 years of selling it and it just being around the country, no one's actually finished it and put on the road. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it really bloody quickly. Like I said, this paint's getting the rub down, it's getting some corrosion inhibitor onto it, and she's getting sprayed. I just need passenger side door XC front guards, and she's getting sprayed. She's getting done, she's getting in paint, and that 2J is going straight in. I'm actually going to put the 2JZ in this episode just because I want to have it in there. And it saves room in the shed. I think I'm going to knock that office down. I need the room. I need room more than I need that office. The XC needs to sit next to the XA. Yeah, I'm going to knock the office down. The office is coming down. Yeah, I don't need it. So let's drag out all the parts. We're going to go through the parts, see what we got with it, lay it all out, see what I can put on Marketplace and get rid of, give it the punt. I can already tell you the dash, I think it's come with 2 GS dashes, straight on Marketplace, not using factory dash in this. That's boring as all hell. So this is getting digital dash, just like the XA is. This is gonna be a spicy little burrito, this one. Let's unpack everything, see what we got, and take it from there. Now, at first glance, it doesn't look like much, but in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty much all you need to build an XC. The dash is in there. There's the glove box, instrument cluster fascia panel. The instrument cluster is in one of these boxes. There's a wiring loom in one of those boxes. The aircon vents are in there. There's a heater box, some front bars. You're pretty much good to go. All the fittings and fixings are in there as well. So that's actually everything needed to put this back together. But, of course, some things will not be staying, like the bench seat. The bench seat will be going. There is absolutely no way in hell I'm doing a bench seat. And the dash is cracked. I'm pretty sure the dash is in pretty spot-on condition before it left, and it's been in the sun for 6 months. 6 months straight. It's not like this is going to be an original car. It's going to be an absolute abomination to all those who like pure cars. Everything else, I'm pretty happy with. And I found this when taking things out. Look, this is evidence. Look at this. This is like a transport form, Australian Amalgamated Terminals. So I'm guessing this happened at the docks. This is what's fitted on it when it gets to the docks. It says move it by forklift, and that's where that damage came in. It's already started coming out, so that'll be easy. A decent dolly and some hammering, and I'll be able to get that bang on. But I mean, it's just more, I don't want to do any more body work. I don't want to do any more body work. There's more body work to be done. It didn't need to happen. Forklift drivers at the docks, what are you doing? You'd have noticed it's got a nice set of, what are they? Chevoids? Something? They're kind of like an imitation rim. But I mean, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. These ones are painted black at the rear. I'm probably going to get them stripped and back to this brushed metal look. I reckon they would look tough as nuts on an EF XR6 or an E-Series Falcon. That would look mean. This is getting big rims just like the XA. It's going to get a set of 18s, 18 by 8s at the front, 18 by 10s at the rear, maybe even 19 by 10s at the rear. Set of big brakes at the front because it has to have big brakes. It's getting a freaking 2JZ in it. I can't have single piston PBR calipers in the front. I'm trying to stop at turbo 2Js. That's just bloody silly. Overall, very happy. If you want that GXL grill, hit me up. Let's do a trade. Give me a single headlight grill, I'll give you that GXL grill. Got some boxes with some stuff in it. Let's actually go through these boxes because I'm not sure what's in here. It's just, obviously, sun visor, some things, cool. That's easy to see. That is the wiring loom. Some fixings, you know, that's to put the front bumpers on. Heater vents and airflow vents in there. And the instrument cluster, we have got a standard instrument cluster in there and a ooh-wee, a spicy instrument cluster. Standard instrument cluster you get on the classic 6-cylinder, the Poverty Pack Falcon. And this is a 6-cylinder GS cluster. You know how it's a 6-cylinder? It's all the way down here. You can see at the bottom of the tacho, there's a little 6. That means it's for a 6-cylinder. But, like I said, not using those. So if you want those, hit me up. I'm going to pack all this away now, just put it out there just so we can have a little bit of a gander, just in case there was some surprise in there. Nothing really surprising. Pretty basic shit you're going to expect when you buy an old piece of crap like that. I'm just going to do some rearranging in the shed real quick. I'm going to get that 2J out. We're going to put the 2J in it. We've got the mounts. We've got the engine mounts for the X-Series Falcon to fit a Toyota 2JZ. We're going to slap it in there and just see what it looks like. And just keep it in there for now. Free up some room in the office because I'm going to knock the office down. I might just do a separate video on that. I'm just going to, this thing here, I'm just going to get the courier and I'm going to slap it in reverse and just straight into it, rip it down. I need to have the XC around that area. But for now, the XC is going to live underneath the Maloo, because you know Martin's not going to work on the Maloo anytime soon. Put the XC under there, get the 2J, put the 2J in it, and I believe that will be the first ever XC Falcon for 2J. You'll see it here first, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get to it. The sooner we get all this packed away, the sooner we get to the fun stuff. Alright, it is the next day. The camera ran out of battery right as I was lowering this in, so I pretty much bolted it up and went home. But as you can see, there is so much clearance, and obviously there's a lot of room in the X Series Falcon engine bay, but it's great that with the 2J there's a lot of clearances both sides. There's a lot of room for me to relocate things. Just straight off the bat, we need to relocate the power steering pump because a forward-facing plenum actually comes out where that power steering pump is. That's a common relocation. Also have to relocate the oil filter housing because I had to take that off to get the Castlemaine Rod Shop engine mounts on. But I mean, we're talking about a 2J remote oil filter relocation kit, all that sort of stuff. This stuff is in bulk on the internet. It is, with 2Js, it's more or less overnight parts from the US as opposed to Japan, because the US is the absolute epicenter for aftermarket 2JZ items. We have some good providers here in Australia as well. There's Golby's Parts and my personal favorite, which is straight up just eBay. But no shortage of aftermarket bits and pieces to do the relocations that we need to do to make this a lot more comfortable in the engine bay. One of the main reasons I wanted to put it in right now was to see where the turbo would have to sit, whether there would be enough clearance between the tower and the motor for the turbo to sit sort of central. But now that I've seen it in there, I'm kind of thinking the turbo should sit further forward. I've got a lot of space over here, so it'd be pretty cool to sort of sit the turbo towards the front of the engine, give that compressor wheel a lot of room to do its thing and just look pretty, as opposed to having everything squeezed between the tower and the engine. Only issue I can see here is these two holes here are where the sway bar mount goes. Knowing that, we can see that the front sump is most definitely in the way. That sway bar travels straight across, and I don't think it's going to be able to clear where that front sump is. So I might have to contact White Line. We might have to get something custom made up, but that is an issue for much later down the track. I just did the entire outro and didn't hit record. I was talking to nothing. So I hope you guys could feel the excitement that I had through picking this thing back up after not seeing it for 9 years. A lot of people have those stories of the cars that they sold and they regret it. I'm very lucky in that I've had the chance to buy this back. I can't believe it actually popped up. It was on the other side of the country. Getting it here, can you imagine trying to organise transport for a car like this that's filled with parts, where every transport company says if it's got parts in it, can't be transported, no loose items, all that sort of crap. We worked through it all. We got it here to the other side of Australia, all the way in Perth, from Sydney, ready to finally be finished. I don't know how many hands it changed over the past 9 years, but it hasn't really gotten anywhere. It's actually gotten a little bit worse. It was closer to completion when I sold it, but I'm gonna be the one to break the cycle. We're gonna finish this, we're gonna finish it really bloody quickly. There's no messing around with this. That is, I'm not gonna start stripping the 2J with plans of doing 1,000 horsepower. Pretty much as the 2J is, it's getting head gasket, turbo manifold, service, couple of injectors. Basically the bare basics to get it running as a turbo and make reliable power with the stock Super 5-speed automatic transmission. We're not going wild, we're just getting it driving, getting it up and running, and then later on down the track we can start putting on a TH400, we can start doing all that, launch control, all the cool crazy fun shit. But for now this will be a very quick build, and I'm saying that because I need to hold myself to that. Like, that's what I said about the XA, and it's 2.5 years into the bloody build. So I thought I'd just stop filming now. I just want to get it out there, show you all the XC, the new project, new short-term project. It's not going to take long. I've come back to this video, I reckon 6 months time, quote me on this, 6 months time, this is gonna be driving around. Give me 6 months, this thing will be done. I guarantee. And I'm putting this in the video to make myself accountable. The XA is just over there looking at me with a real sad look on its face, like, are you serious? 6 months? I've been here. I've been here for 2.5 years. If you weren't wearing so much makeup when I bought you and I rubbed it all off and you were rust holes and fiberglass, and you wouldn't be in this situation. This girl's natural beauty. Nothing hidden behind makeup here. But before I end this video, there is one thing left for us to do. One thing that must be done to commemorate the fact that she has come back into the family and that she is back with me. And I'm gonna do that thing right now. So thank you for watching. If you love the fact that I've been able to find this thing after 9 years of not owning it and buy it back, give the video a like. If you have a similar story to this, I want to hear it. Post it in the comments below. Even if you got a car you regret selling, you wish you could buy back, tell me about it in the comments below. I want to hear all your stories. I want to hear about the coupe. I want to hear about the XB GTs that you guys sold in the 80s for a carton of beer and 2 packs of smokes. I want to hear all those stories. I want to hear the regret flowing into the comments section. But even more so, I want to hear the stories where you guys have been able to get the cars back that you dreamed of, or even just regretting it so much and years later being able to buy a similar car. Let me hear him. Give the video a like and hit subscribe if you want to see this XC get built for 2JZ. I'm telling you, I don't think anyone's done it before. I don't think there is an XC, XA, XB Falcon. Pretty sure there's an XD Ute that once existed with a 2J. I think there's an XM Falcon, a famous drag car that has a 2JZ in it. But there's nothing in the XA to C range that has a 2J. I've searched the internet, can't find it. So apparently this is the first. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next episode. For now, stay tuned to see what it is I was talking about that we need to do to finish this car's journey.